So, as I was saying to you, I'm a researcher, okay? And we did a really interesting study a few years ago about serial winning coaches. Now, before we start talking about the serial winning coaches, okay, I want to talk to you about some ideas that we need to bear in mind through the course of the year. We're going to have a bit of a presentation, and then we're going to have a bit of a workshop. We're going to let you discuss a lot of the things that I'm going to talk about, okay? And like I was saying, I'm going to try and force you to have some serious me time, okay, where you can think about yourself and your coaching. Like I was saying, I'm really keen for you not to see me as a researcher that is stuck in an office all day. I am a coach, okay? That's what I love doing, okay? The research and the work at the university pays the mortgage, okay? But my real passion is to be out there with the kids, from high performance to very young children, okay? That's what I like doing. So please, I'm one of yours, okay? I'm with you in the trenches. Now, I am a doctor, okay? That's what I got from 8 years of doing a PhD. So you're going to have to trust me. And what I'd like you to do is, can we please, each of you get a piece of paper? Okay, I know some of you might work only on laptops, so borrow a piece of paper for someone. If you've got a notebook, please let people have some pieces of paper for them. Come on, get the paper. You're going to need it. I'm not going to start until we see everybody with a piece of paper. Okay. All right, when you're ready, give me a wave. Show me your papers. Okay, perfect. Okay. Now, it's a blind competition, okay? So you're going to have to close your eyes and trust me. I know I told you I'm Spanish, so you're wondering, if I close my eyes, is he going to take my wallet? Okay? But I promise you, I've been in the UK for 20 years, so I'm not only going to take your wallet, I'm going to hack into your computer and take all your data as well, okay? So listen, from this moment on, everybody close your eyes, okay, and trust me. And you got to stay with your eyes closed until I tell you to open them again, okay? So please get your paper and close your eyes. Please close your eyes, close your eyes. Okay, and follow the instructions. So now you need to fold the piece of paper in half. Okay? With your eyes closed, and keep them closed, please. Now, I want you to, with your eyes closed, tear off the top, a bit of paper from the top part of your paper. Okay? With your eyes closed, rip off a piece of the top of the paper. And then I want you to fold it in half again. Fold it again. Okay? And now I want you to rip off the top right corner of the paper. Still with your eyes closed, yeah? Okay. Rip off the top right corner. And when you've done that, one last fold in half. And now you're going to rip off the bottom right corner of the paper. Okay. All right, and now you can open your eyes. If you're any good, you should have something that looks a bit like this. No? Are you that bad? All right, unfold your papers. Show me what you've got. This is mine, okay? What do you have? Hold them up. Check your tables. If you find anyone that has exactly the same pattern as you, you're a winner, okay? But my guess is that all of you will have something different. Look around, look around. Check with your table. Are they all different? Okay. So, what am I trying to say? Well, look, a lot of what we're going to be hearing over the next 2 days, and definitely in my presentation, depends on you. Okay, I gave you all the same instructions. Okay, but you all ended up with a different piece of paper. Okay? And that's the way it should be. Okay? You're all different. Some of the things that you're going to hear over the next 2 days, you might go, yeah, that's me. I'm in the blue side there. I do this already. Okay? Some of the things you might go, in the yellow, no, that's not for me. That's not going to work with my personality or in my context or whatever it is. Okay? And some things might be in the green where, yeah, I would love that to be me, but I'm not ready for that yet. What do I need to do to get myself there? Okay? Because if context is king, if content is king, context is God. One thing that I'm going to constantly be asking you to do today is to reflect on what all this means for you. Okay? Really important that you focus on yourself. Remember, me time. Every person is different. Every situation is different. So really, really value the idea of reflecting on who you are and where you are before you make any decisions, okay? Now I have to confess, I said before, all my ice hockey background comes from those 2 movies, okay? So I'm looking forward to you teaching me a bit more about this. But let's talk a little bit about serial winning coaches. Okay, let's really start getting into the idea of what is a serial winning coach. So back between 2012 and 2016, between London and Rio, we were extremely fortunate to work with a group of coaches that were the elite of the coaching world. We were able to work with 17 coaches that had won multiple gold medals at the Olympics or multiple major trophies and leagues in really top leagues around the world. 17 of those coaches, all right? And we also were able to interview 23 of their athletes. Because as you well know, coaches can tell a very good story. So we wanted to double check that what they were saying was the same thing that the athletes would say. But we got 17 serial winning coaches. Between them, over 200 gold medals and major trophies. I was doing the research and I really felt like a child in a candy shop. Really just so giddy, so excited every time I went to meet some of these guys. Now, to give you a sample of who these people are, and without breaking confidentiality, I asked these 2 people for their permission, because they're basketball coaches. We had some serious coaches like, for example, Jelko Obradovic. I don't know if any of you follow basketball, but Jelko Obradovic has won 9 EuroLeague titles. Okay, that's the equivalent of the Champions League in basketball. And he's won Olympic and World Championship medals as well as a coach. And he's won national leagues in 4 or 5 different countries. So an absolute legend. And we also had Sergio Scariolo, the Spanish national team coach from Italy originally, but he's won a World Championship, 3 Europeans, and leagues in 3 different countries. And only last week won the Euro Cup. Okay? So a really big sample. Now, if that's a sample, who might be the serial winning coaches of ice hockey? So what we're going to do, you see that little symbol there. Carlos, can we go into Vivox, please? All right. You can go into vivox.app, type in 122505330, or you can scan the QR code there with your phone now. And let's hear some names. Who are the serial winning coaches in ice hockey? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you've managed to get in. Are you in the app? Thumbs up. All right, so start putting in the names of coaches that could be serial winning coaches. They need to have won multiple trophies or multiple medals. I can. Good to see you. at many Olympics or World Championships or in professional, really top level professional leagues. So we got, brilliant, we got 40 people in, sorry, 95 in and 43 responses. Okay, so Carlos, when you're ready, share the results, please. This is like Eurovision, but better. Okay. So the bigger the name, the more people have mentioned that name. So Jukka Jalonen, Kari Jalonen, Scotty Bauman, top of the pile. So I don't want to break confidentiality, okay? But just to let you know, we had in the sample of 17, we had 2 coaches that are on that screen, okay? 2 ice hockey coaches that you've identified, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. But we had 2 of them. All right, fantastic. All right, so as we go through the presentation, we're gonna come back to VVox every now and again. So please be ready for that, because I really want to take your views on many, many things that we're going to be looking at today. All right, Carlos, can we go back to the presentation, please? Perfect. Okay. So another talking point for you on VVox. I always say this. So at the university, I coach, I teach, or coach really, young students that want to be coaches. Okay, from 18 to 21, and when I do coach education in basketball or in other sports, they could be of any age. But when we're talking about high performance coaching, and like I was saying to you, I've been very fortunate to coach national teams and to coach in a high performance club for many years. Sometimes we don't realize until we get there how complex the high performance environment is. Okay, and how coaching at the highest level is a very difficult thing. Very complex, very challenging. So can you tell me, go back to, Carlos, can we go back to VVox, please? What makes coaching ice hockey at the highest level a complex and challenging job? Okay? So some keywords there to form another word cloud to understand what it is that we are getting into when we go into high performance coaching. Because some coaches don't realize that, as it happened to me, until I got there. So as many responses as you can. Okay, Carlos, can we show some results, please? It's a big list, eh? Pressure, time, communication, responsibility, people management, money. Does anybody want to leave the room now and go and work in an office 9 to 5? This is your chance. So when I try to explain to my mom sometimes what I do for a living, or what we do as coaches, she thinks that all we do is wear a tracksuit, blow a whistle, and that's the way she explained coaching. But it's not what we do really, is it? Look at that. That doesn't make it any less beautiful as a job. Okay, I think it's the best job in the world to be a coach. All right? But we need to be mindful that that's what it is. Why? Because if we go into coaching, especially at the high level, thinking that it's going to be easy, or thinking that all I do is plan a practice, room practice for 2 hours, and then go home, I am in for a shock, okay? And I'm gonna last 5 minutes in that environment, because coaching is about much more than this, than just blowing the whistle and running practice. Okay? Thank you, that's great. Okay, so no one's left the room, you're all comfortable that that's what you have to do, okay? And those are the pressures that you're under, okay? Great. Carlos, back to the presentation, please. Incidentally, a big shout out to the super professional team we've got in that corner making all of this possible. Especially Carlos brought specially someone that speaks Spanish, okay, just for me. That's such a nice touch, okay? Thank you, Carlos, gracias. Okay. So, now when we did the research, we were very mindful of what research had been done before, because we didn't want to do the same thing. Now, typically, research into coaching has really focused on looking at the behaviors of the coach when they are coaching. Okay, but we've just seen that that is only a really small part of what we do, the actual coaching on the ice. That's such a small part, okay? So we wanted to know a little bit more about other things. You know, what makes these people, and remember, we were looking at these super coaches, the serial winners, okay? What makes these people who they are? What kind of motivations they have? How do they work on a day-to-day basis? What kind of leadership styles facilitate this incredible level of achievement, okay? So we looked at personality traits and motivations. We looked at their values and beliefs through questionnaires, through interviews. We looked at the day-to-day work. Tell me what you do every day. Okay, I want to know what you do every day, how you spend your time. And let's find out how you lead groups of people. And remember, we asked the same questions of the athletes, okay, just to double check, to compare. So, personality traits. Okay, as I showed you before, I take a lot of inspiration or knowledge as a great researcher from American sport movies, okay? So I was a bit biased thinking these guys that I've won so many times are going to be a cross between Count Dracula and the Wicked Witch of the West. They're going to be selfish. They're going to be lone wolves. They're going to be people that they would do anything just to win. Okay, that's who I thought these guys were going to be. Okay, but we found something slightly different. And how did we find that? We ran two psychometric questionnaires, okay? And obviously then we did the interview. Does anybody recognize that man? I'm sure that everybody does. So, the first thing we did, we ran something called the 5 big personality factors questionnaire, okay, which looks at 5 things. And I'll explain what these things are. Neuroticism, okay, so really your emotional stability, okay, how capable you are of being cool under pressure, how good are you at dealing with things that come at you, are you a person that gets really anxious or really frustrated when something doesn't go your way, okay? We looked at openness. How curious are you? How open are you to new ideas? How much do you like to look at things in different ways? Then agreeable. How good are you at working with people in collaborative ways? How much do you take other people's opinions into account? How empathetic can you be with people? And then extroversion. How comfortable are you in social situations like now? Okay, when I told you to move to a different table, no one of you moved, okay? That might not be an indication of your level of extroversion, okay? That might just be where we are today because we just met, okay? But how comfortable are we in social situations? How outgoing are we? How warm are we with people? And then finally, how conscientious are we? How organized we are? How disciplined we are? How hard do we work? So we asked the coaches, and we also asked the athletes to rate themselves in these 5 things. So what did we find? Okay, so in terms of neuroticism, okay, we found, and I know that arrow goes up, but it's the opposite, right? In terms of, because they are very emotionally stable. So they're very high on emotional stability, these coaches. And it kind of makes sense, okay? When you look at the picture that we had before with all the things that we have to do and all the pressures that we are under, if you want to be a coach at the highest level and for a sustained period of time, you're going to have to be quite emotionally stable. That kind of makes sense. And they were all like that. And when the athletes rated their coaches, they rated them quite high in emotional stability. Okay? What about the openness? Well, that was interesting because we found a mixed picture. Some of them were very open, some of them maybe not so much. So there was variability there. There wasn't a single pattern between them. And the same happened for agreeableness. Some of them very high, some of them very low, some of them in the middle. So again, these two don't seem to be a common trait for all of them. There is variability here. There is different ways. Now, when it comes to extroversion, remember how socially competent you are, it doesn't mean that you have to be the soul of the party, that you have to be making a joke every minute, okay? It's not that. But they were highly extroverted, very comfortable with people, very comfortable in social situations, very happy to work with people and support people. And finally, conscientiousness. Discipline, organized, work ethic. These guys were off the scale. Because what you can do, because this questionnaire has been run with so many people over the years, okay, you can compare these guys to normal populations. Okay? These guys were off the scale, so high in conscientiousness. They work so hard. Even so much so that for them it's become so much second nature. This is what I do, I worked really hard, that when we ask the athletes, how hard does your coach work, the athletes even rated them higher. Okay? So the athletes rated the work ethic of the coaches higher than the coaches themselves. Because for the coaches is what I do. That's what I do. I work so hard. Okay? Now, interesting things there. We can see that, really, if we want to coach at the highest level and stay there for a while, we got to be emotionally stable, we got to be socially competent, and we have to work hard. The other two, you can be somewhere in the middle, okay? And you can change if you need to, okay? Depending on the context, depending on the situation. But the other three look pretty clear that those are go-to traits that would be good to have. So we're going to do a quick test. We're going to go back to Vivox, please, Carlos. And we're going to the next one. It needs to be the next one, Carlos, the one about the personality traits, please. So it's going to be the same login every time for Vivox, so if you're already on it, you don't need to go back on. There we go. Okay. So which of the 5 personality traits do you think you could make the biggest improvement on? Okay, and you can pick more than one if you want to. Okay, but let's see where you think you are. This is completely anonymous, so please be super honest with me. Like, for example, my biggest thing has always been the emotional stability. I always blame it on being Spanish and being hot-blooded, okay? But that's the one thing that has always been my Achilles heel and where I try to work the hardest on because I know it's one of my weaknesses. Okay, Carlos, can we show the results? And please keep them coming. It's like a horse race, this. Place your bets. Keep them coming, keep them coming. The more the merrier. Interesting that, isn't it? I've done this exercise with hundreds of coaching groups, okay, over the last few years. Very similar most of the time. The idea of the emotional stability, extroversion, and interestingly in this group, because that's slightly different, the conscientiousness. And my guess there is that it's not, I know what you are like. I'm sure you're really hard workers. But again, this is one of my areas as well for improvement. I work very hard, but I'm not sure that I always work as effectively and efficiently as I could and get organized as well as I could to make my time count and have to work less. I think I work a lot because sometimes I don't get organized well enough, okay? Or I don't delegate enough. All right, so later we're going to have a chance to really go deep into this when we do the second half of this session with a little bit of the workshop. Carlos, back to the presentation, please. Okay, so now we know a little bit about their personality traits, okay? But what about their motivations? All right, and what drives these people? So we asked them to complete something called the strivings questionnaire, the motivations questionnaire. And that looks at two things. One thing is, are these people, are these coaches what we would call bull by the horns type of coaches, that when a problem arises, they just grab it by the horns and wrestle with it? Or are these coaches brush under the carpet? When things happen, we just put them to one side and out of sight, out of mind type of thing. We don't want to deal with them. And where do we think these people are? They are bull by the horns, okay? No question about it. These people, when something needs addressing, they address it straight away. Okay, they don't let anything get bigger than it needs to be. They address the problems straight away. And that's something that they were really strong on. I don't let anything get bigger. At the moment I see something that is against what we need to improve performance, I'm going to jump on it. Okay, really, really strong message there from these guys. But there's also another type of motivation that we looked at. So are these guys people that are motivated for their own good, for their own achievements? I'm doing this because I want to be the biggest coach ever. Okay, this is all about me, I want to win. Okay? Or are they doing this because they want to support others? Because they really want to give others the chance to be successful. So let's see where you are on this. Before I tell you what they were like, let's see where you are. Go back to Vivox, please, and answer this question. Are you a for me or for others type of coach? And again, please, it's completely anonymous. So please be very, very honest. And there is no right or wrong. Remember, we're all different. Okay, results, please, Carlos. Okay. So, what do you think about that? Are the guys that are for me really bad people? Okay, should we now close the doors and beat them up? No, right? Okay. Or are the guys that are for others just these saintly people that we should just bow to? Well, the reality is, Carlos, can we go back to the slides, please? The reality is that these guys were very high on both. I tricked you, okay? I forced you to make a choice between one or the other, okay? So I apologize for that. But the reality is that you don't have to pick one or the other. You can be both. You can have both motivations and be really driven by your own achievements, okay? But at the same time, be really, really motivated by helping others achieve their own dreams. And the beauty of having been high on both is that some days you're going to need to be motivated by others, because for whatever reason, the me is not working that day, because you just lost a massive game. Yesterday, for example, and this is where we get into a bit of the geeky personality that I have, when I got to the hotel, instead of going to bed like a good boy, being disciplined, okay, during the flight, they were playing the final of the EuroLeague, the European basketball competition, okay? So when I got to the hotel, I watched the game at 2 in the morning, okay? Now, obviously, the coach that lost that game, today's probably not feeling very good about himself. And they lost the game by 1. By 1 point in the last second. And allegedly, because of a mistake of the coach. Easy for me to say from here, okay? But allegedly, maybe a little mistake, tiny mistake that maybe cost them the game, okay? So in terms of motivation, that coach has some choices to make because he's going to have to bounce back and get up this morning and say, whew, because they still have to now go back and play the league. So that was the European competition. They still have to finish Real Madrid lost, okay? Which is not too bad because I support Atletico Madrid, but never mind. But they have to go and play the league now, okay? So having that balance between me and others might be helpful sometimes to pick yourself up when you need. But again, you don't have to choose, and you don't have to feel bad if you want to be successful yourself. Because we sometimes, like as coaches, we might go like, should I be feeling like this? Should I be apologizing for wanting to be successful? Or as a coach, should I always be about the others, okay? So really interesting there, that they're high on both. So when we look at this in terms of a little bit of a summary of when you combine the motivations, the personality traits, we get some interesting pointers as to what these guys are like in general. And they are guys with a very clear vision about what they want and a very clear focus, and we'll come back to this later. They're always focused on the future because they're very optimistic. Okay, it's always about what can I do next? They're emotionally stable most of the time. They are go-getters, so they don't wait for things to happen. They make things happen. They're extremely good students. One thing that came through from the study really strongly is how much these guys were strong about their education. Formal and informal education. And they take extreme pride in working hard. It's something that really defines their personality. I'm a hard worker. Really strong part of their identity. So we're going to watch a quick video, and you're going to tell me if these people could be serial winning coaches or not. Can we play the video there, Carlos? Can we put some sound on that? If we don't get, don't worry, no sound, I'll act it. Oh, shit, we're stuck. Oh, let me get my phone. Wait, someone will come and fix it. Help! Don't worry. Oh, I haven't got my phone. You can tell I've watched this video a few times, eh? I don't know what to do. Someone will come. Someone will come. Don't worry. Help! There's 2 people stuck on an escalator, and they need help. Help! I can't do the music. I can only do the words, okay? Oh, there's nothing else we can do. Damn. Yeah, there's nothing we can do. Yeah, we'll have to wait. Someone will come. Someone will come. Ooh, okay. Ooh. We've been here for a while, haven't we? Ooh, don't worry. I'll fix it. I'll fix it. Don't worry. Oh, he says he can fix it. Great. Fantastic. He can fix it. Ooh. Ooh. Now what? Okay? All right, you can stop the video there, Carlos. Actually, it works better when I do the words. I'm going to start doing it like that all the time. But when you look at that video, could those people be serial winning coaches? No, okay? Because, again, going back to the first word cloud with all the different things that we need to, all the challenges we have as a coach, all those challenges are escalators, like that, okay? And a lot of the times, we're going to feel like we're stuck on the escalator. All right? Now, when we are stuck on the escalator, just give me some ideas. Shout out some ideas about what you can do when you're stuck on the escalator. Give me some ideas. Okay, come on. I'm asking you now. Okay, you can keep going forward and climb up. Okay, that's one option you can do. What else can you do? Step back, go down, and then do what? Find another escalator. Okay? Brilliant. When you're on the escalator, what else can you do? Let's say, imagine that the escalator is not stopping, but it's going relatively slow, as it happens sometimes. The escalator goes really slow. What can you do? You can run up. Okay, so you can change escalator, you can walk up, and you can run up. And that's kind of the same choices we have when we are faced with problems coaching, isn't it? We can keep going, even if we're stuck, just keep going and find a new solution, change escalator, new solution, or if we don't feel things are happening quick enough, we can run up the escalator. So I use this video a lot with my students and my players to show them, look, in the middle of a game, in training, all the time, we're going to find ourselves in situations like that. Actually, funny enough, I'm just thinking, when we got no sound, I could have got stuck on that escalator. And I'm feeling quite happy with myself now because I managed to keep going. Okay, if I can be completely honest with you. I'm going to have an extra piece of cake later, okay? But we are faced with these situations all the time. And it's very easy to do what these guys do. Just quickly, take 10 seconds to think about one situation you're currently dealing with where you feel that you are stuck on the escalator and you're just waiting for someone to come and fix it for you. Just think about it. Is there any situation like that? We all have one like that, at least one. Okay. Again, we can come back to this later, okay? Perfect. So, we're moving on now to, once we know their personality traits and motivations, that takes us to the next level of what's happening underneath the iceberg, underneath the water, okay? Because, like I was saying before, traditionally, we've looked at the behaviors, but we don't know anything about what goes underneath there, what motivates, what drives those behaviors. So, values and beliefs. We found 3 things that really stood out for these coaches. One is that they had a really high moral stance. So things like trust, loyalty, honesty, respect, super important for these coaches. Very big. But these things were even bigger for the athletes. When we asked the athletes, what would you really highlight from these people? They didn't talk about the how well they know the X's and O's, okay, or how well they plan training. It was that they are really trustworthy people. People that you can rely on. Okay? Really important. Now, second, we also found, remember I thought these guys were going to be a bit like Count Dracula? Okay, and just suck your blood and move on to the next victim? They weren't. Okay? These guys used the athlete as a compass. So the athlete guided everything they did. Okay? The needs and desires of the athlete and the goals of the athlete took priority over everything else. Of course, you're ice hockey coaches, so sometimes the need of the individual athlete might not be exactly compatible with the needs of the team. Okay? And trust me, players understand that. As long as we are, going back to the first point, as long as we are honest with them, And we show them that before we make any decision that impacts on them, we have considered all the implications and all the other options. That really counts. When we talk to the 23 athletes, by the way, these 23 athletes are also serial winning athletes, top athletes, okay? For them, the biggest thing was to understand that the coach was considered, that when making decisions, the coach thought about the implications and didn't make decisions willy-nilly, as they say in Manchester, okay? Cool. And the final thing, in terms of the values and beliefs, quite a surprise for us a little bit, that they were quite big on having a good work-life balance. I don't know about you, but that to me was a big surprise, because I've been an international coach, and the word balance doesn't really come to mind when I think about being an international coach. But what they said is, look, this balance is relative. We are not 9 to 5 people that work in an office, and we know that. So within the constraints of our context, you can still find a good balance. And balance for them was a number of different things. From looking after yourself, remember the me time, with good sleep, good diet, exercising, finding a hobby to take your mind off. A little bit, something that it could be chess, photography, it could be running, it could be anything, okay? Something that can take your mind off. And then reconnecting or connecting consistently with the people that you love, with your friends, with your family, finding ways of doing that, okay? So we had one, not ice hockey, but ice skating, speed skating coach that said to us, I spend 200 days a year away from home. But I still think I've got a pretty good balance, okay? And he was talking about all those things that he did to feel grounded, to give himself me time and to be on top of things. But he also said that he learned to do that after having 2 breakdowns. So I guess my advice to you would be, don't wait to have a breakdown. We know it's important. Find a way, okay? All right. So the next thing, very quickly, we're going to look at what they do day to day, okay? Because we're going to go deeper on this in the workshop later. But day-to-day work of the coach. Well, they actually told us that they focused all their efforts around these 3 areas: a vision, people, and an environment. So they want to have a clear vision of where they are going and how they're going to get there. They want to find the right people that is going to allow them to realize that vision, and they want to create an environment that is going to allow those people to fulfill the vision. Now I'm thinking, there is nothing really rocket science about this, okay? There's nothing where you say, wow, this is so difficult to do. No, we could all say these 3 things. The difficult thing is to do them, and to do them consistently, okay? Let's have a quick look at what goes into these 3 things. So for example, in terms of the vision, do we have real clarity about the goals that we have? Have we really taken the time to decide what our goals are? And have we communicated those to everybody? Is everybody on the same page? Now, do I know how am I going to do it? What is my way of doing things? Do I really know that? Have I taken time to understand what is my philosophy? It could be my coaching philosophy, my playing philosophy. Have I taken time to think about all of that? Because that's going to influence and inform everything you do. Next thing, are we future-proof? Is my vision future-proof? Have I taken the time to understand where the game is going? So what I'm doing now works in the future, not just now. Because if it only works now, in 2 months from now, it's going to be obsolete. That's how quickly the game moves on. When we talk about high-performance sport, we know that it is a very complex environment. There's lots of moving pieces, lots of things we could do. So they're very good, what we call simplexity. They simplify complexity. They're masters at that. You can only focus on a number of things at a time. Okay? If you try to do too much, what happens? You end up doing nothing. Okay? So these guys were very keen to understand what is going to make a big difference. Let's do that. And if we can then do the other stuff, but let's really go with the things that are going to make a difference. And obviously they are really strong planners and reviewers. Constantly planning, constantly reviewing, constantly adjusting. What about people? They talk about selecting people, getting the right people on the bus. Both athletes and support staff personnel. Because if you got rotten apples in there, they could destroy your team. Okay? So take time to select people if you can, okay? That we know that that's a luxury sometimes, that you cannot always choose everybody. But as much as possible, people that you can trust. They say it's better to have someone that you can trust and educate over time than someone that is very good, but it is a bad person for your team, okay? Then the next thing is they spend a lot of time building belief, okay? Belief in themselves, so getting players to believe in the coach's capacity, getting players to believe in themselves, and getting players, very importantly, to believe in the group. And they spend time on that. They went about developing these meetings, individual meetings, doing things to really make people believe that this is a good place to be in. They were very good at managing, I know hockey, I'm sure it's like basketball. You have a massive high-performance team with assistant coaches, analysts, strength and conditioning, physiotherapists, doctor. That's not what they teach you in the coach education course, is it? And then all of a sudden you are managing a group of 20 players and 20 staff. And you got no idea how to do that. So that's an important part. And the same with the entourage. The families of the players, your own family, the agents, the media, all of that again, we don't get trained to do. But it becomes such an important part of the job that we have to accept is part of the job. And finally, the environment. Okay? How do we create a really good environment? And again, not rocket science, really. Okay? We know this. He's doing it. The important thing is doing it. We know this. Setting high standards. And don't let anybody drop the standards. This is how we want to do things. Anybody that goes underneath the standard is out or needs to get back up. Leaving no stone unturned. Making sure that you look for every single thing that might make a difference to your team. Providing appropriate support for your athletes. Is your environment stable and dependable? Can the athletes trust the environment so they don't have to worry about anything? And for me, the most important thing for me, because I was terrible at this when I was doing national teams, okay? The upwards management. I thought that my job as a coach was to manage down, to manage the players, and to manage my coaching staff. Now, the big job is managing up to your performance director, to the president of the federation, because they make decisions that really impact on your performance. And I was terrible. I was terrified every time I went into a meeting with a performance director. Big fail, okay, for me. Really important that we do that we are comfortable challenging up, okay? Cool. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to move finally to the leadership style, okay? You see there's a lot under the water, okay? Much more than just what we do when we blow the whistle. So very simple, because it's a combination of everything we said already today. We called it caring determination. That's what these coaches do. That's how they lead. And I'll let you read that. They're absolutely relentless in the pursuit of excellence, but they're able to manage that with a genuine and compassionate desire to support the athletes and themselves. Not only the athletes, support you, okay? Be compassionate to yourself. So very determined, but also very caring. And they can move along that continuum where they can be super demanding one moment and the next second they're super caring. Some key things there. In terms of determination, we've talked about the high standards, really important. These guys talk about that all the time, and the athletes, oh my God. A high sense of purpose. They felt they were doing this for something bigger than themselves. For their country, for their club, for the athletes. Really, they wanted to do it because it meant a lot to them beyond themselves. They had a pathological desire to win. Okay, and you know where this came from for most of them? Out of the 17, 14 had been high-performance athletes themselves, but they hadn't won anything as an athlete. They wanted to make amends for their shortcomings as an athlete. They were completely committed. Once they decided to do this, it was all in, okay? And they had this 2020 vision. They could see the future, and then they could see what needed to happen today. And they were determined to get there by doing what needs to be done today. And what about caring? So they can do all of that, and at the same time do this. See athletes as people first. Okay, really important. If we're going to ask people to do extraordinary things, they need to know that we've got their back and that we care about them. They need to know that we are looking to understand what drives them, what worries them, okay, that we see them as human beings. And caring is also about going back to the coach that lost the final yesterday, okay? They need to know that the sun will always rise the following day. That no matter how bad things are, the next day you're going to have a chance to start all over again. And that's an important part, okay? Because if you get so down that you can't come back up, you're going to struggle. So caring, determination, okay? If you look at their leadership, comes back to everything we've talked about. Their personality, their motivations, their values and beliefs. All of that makes them be the way they are. That's why we needed to do this research. Because we didn't know where these things were coming from. But now we do. And what we found out as well, that the biggest quality of these guys, when you look above the water, is not their coaching behaviors. It's that they have adaptable coaching behaviors. That they're not a one-trick pony. That they can really adjust to situations depending on how things go. And that's really important, okay? Because I think, again, sometimes, and I've been there and I'm still there, I feel that sometimes if I change things too much, I feel like I'm doing the wrong thing, but actually, that's what I need to do. I need to go with the flow and understand the situation to do the right thing at the right moment. And that adaptability is really important. And it came across in two levels. These coaches, we describe them as chameleons, okay? Because they have cognitive and emotional flexibility. They can change behaviors. They can come up with creative solutions. They're very self-aware and self-controlled. And all of that makes them very quick learners. They can change their colors all the time. But also that emotional flexibility is what allows them to enjoy the roller coaster of high performance. It's like this all the time. Good days, bad days. Survive, okay, and live another day, even when you got a bad day. Sometimes high performance coaching is about surviving, sometimes it's about thriving, and you need to understand the difference between those two types of days. And have that emotional flexibility to be compassionate to yourself and to others. Now, and I finish with this, okay, before we give you a little bit of a breather, okay? After doing this research, and really looking at these guys, and then since we did the study, I've just kept reading and reading autobiography books and interviews on YouTube. Who are these people really? Who are they? which character in a movie are these people? If we want to bring their personality to a character, who are they? And we found two main characters. So some of them were a little bit like Indiana Jones or Lara Croft. Okay, and we call them the Avengers. Okay? They're a little bit egotistic, a little bit about me. They have a huge need to prove themselves to the world. But at heart, they're good people. That they want to fight for the right cause, the athlete, and they're ready to die at any moment. These kind of people that just go all out, okay? So some people are like that, okay? Some of these coaches were more like this, like Mother Teresa or Mahatma Gandhi, okay? And we call them the altruist, because it's always about the greater good for them. And for that, they will make any personal sacrifice necessary for the greater good, always fighting for the right cause. But the fact that they're altruistic doesn't make them soft. They've got a steely determination, nerves of steel, okay? So you might want to think about who they are. We're not going to go to Vivox, Carlos, because we're running late. But you might want to think, where do you fit right now? Take 10 seconds. Where do you think you are? Are you more Indiana Jones or Lara Croft? Or are you more Gandhi and Mother Teresa? Where do you think you are? Okay. But let me give you a surprise. Okay? Regardless of where you are, okay, whether you are the Avenger or the altruist, okay, all of the coaches had a third character in there that perhaps was the most important as a serial winning coach. Homer Simpson. Who would have thought? Okay? Homer Simpson, which we call the realist. Because Homer Simpson knows that shit happens. Okay? And he also knows that you need to get your me time. And you need to find what your donut is in your life that is going to allow you to survive in the high-performance environment, what your beer is, okay, and take time for yourself. So we're going to finish this section just by recommending you to please find your Homer, okay? If you learned anything from this session, find your Homer, get your donuts, and get your beer. That's all you need to remember for this, okay? Thank you very much, okay? And we'll give you a quick 3-minute break to stretch your legs, go to the loo if you need to, and then we come back and we'll have a bit of a half-an-hour workshop to reflect on these things. Okay? Thank you very much. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. That's so
You're
good.
welcome.
Thank you. That's great. Thanks, Ollie. Thank you. Yep.
Okay, so are we ready to get going again? All right, don't sit down. Stand up, stand up, stand up, stand up. Come to the front, please. Come to the front. Come forward quickly. Keep coming forward all the way to here, please. All the way to here, okay? I want to see you close by. Okay, good. Please come up here with me. What's your name?
Dragos.
Dragos, okay. And where are you from, Dragos?
Romania.
Romania.
Yeah.
Sergio, España. España and Romania.
¿Habla español?
Sí, no, yo sí, pero rumano no. Okay, listen, we've been talking about serial winning coaches for the whole morning, okay? So we're going to give you a chance. One of you today is going to become a serial winner, okay, in the next 5 minutes. So we're going to do that through a rock, paper, scissors, truly a world championship, okay, here with 22 countries, okay? So this is how it works. In a second, you're going to find one person to play against, okay? So in my case, Dragos, okay? And Dragos, we're going to play one game of rock, paper, scissors. You know how to play?
Yeah.
So rock, paper, scissors. Rock beats scissors. Scissors beats paper. And paper beats rock, okay? And we go one, rock, paper, scissors, shoot. That's how we play. International rules. I've just made them up, okay? Very, very... and if I win, okay, I move on to the next round. And you become, my friend, you become my fan, my follower, okay? And when I play the next game, you have to go Sergio, go Sergio. If you win, I go behind you, and in your next game, I go Dragos, okay? Right? And we keep going until there's only 2 people left with 70 people behind them, okay? Right? And that, we will get the winner, okay? So just demonstration, okay? Go easy on me, okay? Right, ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Again, if it's a draw, go again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Mind games here, okay? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Come on. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, go, keep going. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Ah! Okay, Dragos. Okay, so now you will be my follower, okay? That was just a demonstration, so you're not out, okay? You can play again. So all we do, find someone, play, whoever wins keeps going and the other person is behind, then play the next, so that's 4 people. If you win, keep going and the other 3 go behind until we go 1, 2 left, okay? Go. Go, Dragos, find someone to play. Well done. Let me hear you cheering for each other. Cheer for each other. Go Dragos, go Dragos, go Dragos. I can't hear you. Come on, let me hear you. Be louder. Louder. Come on, next round. Hey! Louder. Hey! Okay, stop. Hey! Okay, hold it, stop. Oh, yeah, okay, wait. Who's left? All right, so we go one here, one there. So you 2 play each other, and you play down there. There's someone down there. Oh, someone here. Play this gentleman here. Be louder. Hey! Okay. Right. So you come up here. Wait, that's the final? Okay, come up here, please, up here, on the stage. Oh, one more there. All right, so, okay, to decide, all right, so to be fair to you two, give me a number between 1 and 5. 3. Oh man, you're playing that. Okay, I promise you I thought about 3, so you got to play that game first before the final, okay? Seriously. Oh, okay, sorry, okay. All right. He really wanted to body check you there. He went like, all right, you come on the stage with me, please. And please introduce yourselves to each other and to the group. Please say who you are and where you come from.
Kopa from Finland.
Okay. Kopa. Okay. Kopa.
Yes.
Kopa, Sergio. I'm so glad I'm not playing you because you look mean. Okay. And you are? Harry. Oh, so an all Finnish affair. Okay. Well, give them a clap. Well done. Okay. So Kopa and Harry. Okay. Kopa and Harry. It's good to be Spanish because I can roll the eyes. Okay. The R's. Harry and Kopa. Okay. Now the final is going to be best of 3. So you have to win 2. Now, who's here for Harry? Who's on Harry's side? Hey! That was really bad. Okay. Who's here for Kopa? Hey! Who's here for Harry? Hey! That's more like it. Okay. Good. Are you ready? Any sports psychologist in the room, or you good? Okay. Right. First game. Ooh, 1-0. You can cheer for your team. Okay. Yes. Come on, give me something. Hold it. You do know that lunch is at 1 o'clock, right? Okay, and these people look hungry to me. It's at 12 o'clock. All right, go again. Ooh, 1-0. Big, the final. Yeah, come on. Oh, Harry the winner. Okay, well done. Give it up for these guys. Okay, well done. All right. Okay, so now don't go back to your seats yet, okay? Because what I would love you to do now is, since we're already stood up and you've been meeting people around, can I ask you to go back, hopefully, to a different table and sit down with different people, just for the last half an hour, okay? Make an effort to meet people that are new to you, okay? And sit down, okay? Thank you, Harry. Congratulations, world champion. Woohoo! Hey, silver medal, Copa, silver medal, okay? Silver. Okay. All right, may I have your attention for a second, please? Okay. So, on your tables you have two documents, okay? And all we're trying to do is to help you reflect a little bit, going back to the idea of me time, okay, on some of the things that we looked at earlier. So go to paper that says number 1, okay, and only look at number 1. Okay. And that's the kind of personality paper. Now listen, something that I forgot to say during the presentation is that those personality traits are 50% genetic, but 50% depending on the environment. So they can change, and you can work on things. That's important to know, okay? Because if we think that everything is down to genetics, then and that it is all determined by your DNA, it's not a good place to be in. But actually, research shows that the personality traits are influenced by genetics, but also the environment and the work we put on changing them. So, all I want you to do is, you're going to go through the 5 personality traits, okay? Neuroticism, openness, agreeableness, extroversion, and conscientiousness. And you're going to very quickly just, don't overthink it, okay? Just rate yourself high, medium, or low. Okay, just very quickly. Give you a couple of minutes. I'll give you 30 seconds. Right now, all you have to do is just rate yourself. Don't worry about the other box that says what you can do, okay? We're just thinking about rating yourself. Okay. So hopefully you've managed to rate yourself in all of them. And I know this is not an easy thing to do, okay? I know there's a lot of different shades of gray, really, okay? So I appreciate this is quite hard what I'm asking you to do here. But what I'd love you to do now is, from those 5 things, okay, pick the one, as we did before, okay? Pick the one that you really think you would like to get better at, the one that would really make a big difference to your job, whether you're a coach or a performance director or whatever it is that you do, okay? What would be the one that would make a big difference to your job? And then what I'd like you to do is give you 5 minutes to turn around to the person next to you and in groups of 2, or it might have to be a group of 3 somewhere, okay, depending on the tables. But really just have a 5-minute conversation with each other, explaining why you chose that one, okay? Why is it important to you? And what you could do to change it, or what it would look like when you have changed it. So if you manage to change that, what would be the benefit? What would you do differently? Okay, so explain your choice and explain how you're going to change, or what it would look like when you've really reached the level that you want to reach on that particular thing. Okay? So can I give you 5 minutes to have a chat with the person next to you in groups of 2 or 3 so you get a lot of me time? Okay? Off you go. Off you go. Okay, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. Okay. So, all right, sorry to, I will interrupt you really briefly. I love how much you are engaging in the conversations, and that's really great. And that's all we want to do. We want to start some conversations that you can continue over the next 2 days. At lunch, at coffee, at the game tonight, okay? So the next conversation is around paper 2. I really feel like a university professor now. Paper 2, okay? Now, this is where we're going to look at the day-to-day work of the coach. And in that paper 2, you've got 4 areas: philosophy, vision, people, and environment. And you can see that we get a little bit deeper there into some of the things that I explained earlier. So first, 5 minutes on your own, okay? Again, going through these things and sort of rating yourself in all of these. Okay, so for example, in terms of philosophy, I have a clear philosophy and values which informs my coaching. So you could be, yeah, I've got that clear. So and so, I could do more work. Or no, I haven't done enough thinking about that. Okay, so just mark it and move on to the next one and see where you end up. Okay, there you go. 5 minutes to do that. Carlos, can we play some ambience music while they're doing this? Some great Finnish pop. You always win Eurovision. Not always, but you've done well. Sorry, I just jumped on you with that, Carlos. I've got some great Spanish flamenco on my phone if you want it. Anything, just please put your hand up and I'll come over and you can ask me any questions you have. So when you're ready, and I appreciate that you may have not finished the paper, that's okay. But if you can maybe pick one area, one thing, that again you think would make a big difference to your coaching or your job, and again with the person next to you, start discussing why you think that's the case, okay, and what you could do to maybe improve in that area, and let's just have that conversation again for another 5 minutes before we break up for lunch, and then we can continue having these conversations over the next 2 days. Okay, off you go. Okay, so again, extremely sorry to interrupt the conversations. I will be very brief because now we're going to go for lunch, so you can carry the conversations over lunch. But look, all we were trying to do this morning, the theme of the conference is leadership on and off the ice. Okay, we were trying to really get you to know each other a little bit more and start building these conversations. If that's all we get from the next 2 days, lots of great conversations, we would have succeeded, okay? Not taking anything away from the presenters, okay, which are absolutely fantastic, and you will see that later today, okay? But really, if we get this group of people from 22 countries working together, ice hockey is in a really good place. So thank you very much, and enjoy your lunch. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry. I planned that very poorly.